Hi and hello from September, sunny Berlin. I'm here, it is autumn, it is beautiful days, and I've got plenty of things to talk about honestly, but I'm gonna stick to the topic that I have in mind, and today that is sabbaticals. The context for this is that, of course, I've been on a sabbatical for almost 5 years now. Well, we would probably have to define sabbatical and see if I'm really on one. I did work a little bit here and there, but and I am giving a talk on sabbaticals in 2 days. Today is Thursday. On Saturday I'm speaking at Regents Unite here in Berlin on the topic. And thirdly, I am in the process of founding a consultancy which for now has the focus of sabbaticals, a contemplative cultural consultancy helping corporations, all these C words, helping corporations offer sabbaticals as a kind of a perk to their employees. How do you structure a sabbatical well? How do you make sure you get continuity into a career despite or maybe even because of a sabbatical, and so on and so on. So I am going to make a commercial effort to make that happen. But for now I want to talk about the regenerative aspects of a sabbatical and what it does and what's good about it while I'm walking through my neighborhood. So my story, I have been on a sabbatical for about 4 years now, almost 5 years. I quit my job at Twitch in 2018 and did not line anything up afterwards. What was the original thought behind that? The original thought was, well, I have enough money, and there's this meme, right, which is like, what if you had all the money in the world, what would you do? And it kind of is an interesting question because it implies that, you know, you never have to work again or something, and then, well, what do you do? And this is not a simple question at all. It kind of implies that there's a kind of some sort of infinite game that is worthwhile playing, because obviously the answer is not sit on the couch and play video games for the rest of your life. Like, clearly that's not it, right? The answer also isn't travel. So what is the answer? And we don't know, but many questions appear, like, what's important in my life to me? Why am I getting up every day, and for what? And how do I spend a day? And what, where if I don't have if I'm not forced to do anything, where do I gravitate towards? Or towards what do I gravitate? What are my innate talents? What are my unique powers? What are my wishes for the world? And what's my lifelong project, essentially? What is my life's work? And it was very obvious for me that I had to answer these questions, because with Twitch, I worked at Twitch for just over 4.5 years. I basically had a dream job from age 22. I had extremely solid pay for my young age. I all my financial wishes that I had, where I thought I'd had to become a programmer or something like that to make my, you know, something beyond 60 to 70,000 euros a year, like a good middle class income or whatever. Yeah, they were all true at 25 and before. So that game kind of got played through quickly, and I had lots of money saved and ready in stocks, and so I had a not infinite money, but an amount of money that is certainly gonna last for 2 years, and together with the work I've done, it ended up lasting for 4, actually almost 5. So in my eyes, that was pretty much having all the money in the world, and so I could ask myself the questions that I outlined previously legitimately, and run a legit experiment to see what would happen. What is my life's work? What do I gravitate towards? What do I want to do with my life if I think about it truly in the long term? So that was the initial spark that made it very obvious to me that I had to be on a sabbatical. And well, then I went and was immediately faced with a lot of uncertainty and the corresponding dread, I would say. And I think I was ready for that, but you're never really ready for it. So you gotta live through that. And that was a generally quite a good time, but I'm not quite sure what I'm saying here. I guess I'm faced with the same uncertainty in this video right now. No, but well, other problems basically appeared, and they were cool problems. They were like very life-y problems. So, for example, corresponding with quitting my job, I moved to Berlin, and I was faced with an empty apartment, essentially. So, like, I had a problem, which was, how do I want to live in my apartment? What do I want to have in here, furniture-wise? And then, because I seem to be quite drawn to first principles, I immediately asked the question, like, what is living, even? Like, what based on what would I make these decisions? And that itself was a long-term project that took me a while to furnish my place and decide what to put in there. And then I realized that I had some friends here in Berlin, but they weren't really the people that I feel supremely connected with. I was missing, sorry, I'm just seeing this very nice Saab. Very nice old machine. Yeah, shout outs to my friend Anthony. Normally I would take a picture now and send it to him because he's a Saab fanboy. Anyway, yeah, so what's what's a life, the when you're not working. I mean, I was working for Twitch in London, and I wasn't really living. I was just in a little apartment with other people that I liked but wasn't in love with, even as friends or roommates. I was working with people who I wasn't in love with, neither as friends nor as co-workers. And so try to dodge the noise here a little bit. And so I was pretty much faced with the same problems in Berlin. So that wasn't like a magic pill, quit your job, move to another place, and suddenly you've got everything. And at the time, I think I didn't really know what I needed, and I wasn't super intentional. So it was more like letting things happen, and that's what I was looking for, right? I was like, what will happen? I'm gonna do variations of nothing. What's going to happen? What is going to catch my attention? And a lot of it had to do with saying no in the beginning. No to, I had a few job offers here and there, a few people who were like, what are you doing? A few people with promises or potentials, and it's just like feeling kind of what's the word, complimented by the interest, but also learning to discern. If you're thinking about my other video, the tangle, learning to discern what is real here and what isn't. I guess I haven't talked about this in a long time. It's hard to really point to well, I'm trying to point to something, and I think I can. So you don't have to go on a sabbatical for 5 years. Even if you go for a year, there's a lot to learn, because there's a regenerative process that happens, and it's like key to have the time of the day freed up where you'd usually be working. Oh man, now the cleaning machine is back. Come on, dude. This guy. Well, going the other way. It's very important to have that time of the day freed up where you would normally be working. First of all, to like rest, and then to let your mind and your body be drawn to your true work. And your true work can be a lot of many different things. Your true work can be taking care of your body. How many people sit in offices and get fat or just immobile or whatever your ailment, addicted to alcohol, medicine, cigarettes, whatever. I would argue many people, and what do you do about that? Well, it's possible that these addictions are load-bearing for you to do your work. And respect, more power to you, but take a break and see if you still need them. See what changes. Learn to listen to your body instead of your boss. take time to exercise or whatever. What else might be your true work? Maybe you need to process something. Work is an intense thing. You do that for a couple of years, 3-4 years, I say take a break. Process. What did it give you? And what damage did it do to you? Probably both, some of both. It would be good to take stock of that, so that when you continue working, let's say even for the same employer or project, maybe you can change some things up so it's more healthy and amicable to you, your work. Maybe it's time, maybe your true work is to take care of your family and to spend a bit more time with your partner, your kids. Maybe it's time to speak with your mom and your dad or your grandparents or whoever you didn't have time for, or your siblings. That could be true work. It's it's really hard to explain. Life is extremely complex and pluralistic, and it's not always obvious that we don't maybe work to also escape something else. And so going on a sabbatical is also facing some sort of truth and possibly rejecting work as a coping mechanism. Again, it can be load-bearing. Resting, in Germany we would say, resting will gelernt sein, right? It wants to be learned. It's worth, it's not obvious that resting is easy. Many people have very busy minds and they like to keep them occupied. And that's fine, but like I said, it's worth taking that time that you would usually be at your job to fill it with something else. I'm not saying you just have to sit around and meditate. That would be quite radical. But, see what else comes up. That itself is a meditative movement. Meditation is to rest easefully and let your thoughts pass by and then let new ones emerge. I usually have some of my best thoughts while meditating because they get the space to emerge. A sabbatical is also like a meditation in that sense, because as your day job gets muted, new activities and desires can emerge. So I think these are roughly the outline of regenerative effects of a sabbatical. Whether you go on one for 6 months, I would say is the minimum, or a year, or 3 years, or 5 years. It can untether you, for better and for worse. But I invite everybody to have the courage to be untethered and to see what life has to offer beyond a 9-to-5 or a job or this standard operating system that we are being taught. I think that gives me time to add one more perspective to this. In our standard operating system in the world, in the West that I know, Germany, USA, and so on, we don't really have proper rest periods built in. We know this as far as well, there's this problem of the endless summer, right? You know, it's always about productivity all the time. And just look at the seasons and how a year passes by, and you know this isn't possible. It's natural that there is a winter, and in winter there is no blooming. In winter things die, and we have to let them die. It's very important. We have to clean out our closet. We have to, I'm sorry mama, but tonight I'm cleaning out my closet. We have to give life time and space to regenerate, and that's really key. And so if you're mapping the seasons onto a career, then you could say by the rule of fourths, then out of a four-year career, 1 year should be a sabbatical. Or if we're being a bit conservative, then at least a half year after 3/3.5 years of career. I think that's perfectly reasonable, because then you can actually work through what you've experienced and like I said, reintegrate it, and then you can come back to the same work, or you can choose new work. But either way, you will be a bit closer to your life's work, because you actually took a step back and took stock, took count of what you've experienced. And then you can renegotiate your employment with yourself, where you want to be, what you want to do, also with your employer, and see who you should be next. And unbelievable things happen while we sleep, and this includes winter, and this includes the quiet years of sabbatical. Unbelievable things happen in our sleep if we feed ourselves with the right information. During a quiet time, we can acquire unbelievable skills. I don't know if you've experienced that. I certainly have. I've when I had ambitions to be good at StarCraft 2, the video game, which is a very complex undertaking and game. I basically did not play for half a year and only watched videos, but then when I came back to playing, I basically skipped all the in-between leagues. I was bronze when I stopped playing, then I watched content, and when I came back I was in Diamond League, which was the highest league at the time. This is being underestimated. Sleep is productive time. Quiet time is productive time. We need to let nature run its course, and part of that is including significant breaks that aren't just the weak-ass holiday structure that we have. 2 weeks here, 2 weeks there, and then holidays are often activity. Also in our culture, there's pressure. I mean, I don't really feel it, but I'm sure many people feel it, of you gotta go somewhere, you gotta be somewhere, you gotta be at the sea, in the mountains, you gotta be hiking, you gotta be this, that. That's regenerative, sure, because you're usually in touch with nature, but come on, you have to, on the day your holiday begins, you already get your bags packed and you're on a flight. That's activity, No, you need to do nothing for a while. You need to just fuck around and do nothing. That's very important. You need to take this time for yourself to actually feel regenerated, and you have to get bored a bit, you know? It's you have to rest your eyes and your ears and your brain, and you have to maintain your land and your children and whatever you have to take care of, but like you have to cut out one thing that is work and just rest for a while. And I want this to be counted towards productivity, because productivity is important. But transformation and innovation is true productivity, and that happens while doing nothing. You can ask any artist, any creative, you get the ideas in the shower, or on a walk, or on a run, while you're doing nothing else with your hands and your head. Yes, and so this is my plea, this is my stance. We have to, I highly suggest that we include sabbaticals into career plans. And I highly recommend, if you've got money in the bank and you are, well, maybe feeling even slightly burned out, that you take a year's worth of salary and put it towards yourself. Invest it into the most important stock you can buy, which is your own time. That's real. And so I think this got fiery enough for my taste, and I'll leave you with this: the beautiful blue sky over Warschauer Straße, with its beautiful people. And yeah, I'm gonna write this out, see if I can make my points a bit more concise, and upload this as well. And if you happen to be in Berlin and you want to hear this again, catch me on Saturday the 16th. Is that right? 16th of September, 11 a.m. main hall. I'm gonna give this talk in a slightly more concise form. I will also talk more about this. Like I said, I'm founding a business. If I'm very curious to be in touch with people about this. I want to bring this opinion of mine and this, and also Tim, my co-founder. I want to bring this experience of mine and this conviction into the work culture, starting here in Germany, which is, I'm not sure if it's a good place to start, but this is where I am, so this is what I got. And I want to help people work less and get closer in touch with their life's work. And I'm convinced it will help people, and I'm convinced it will help companies. I think nobody loses in this game, and it's a much needed change, you know, before we get another forceful death, you know, because death comes whether we want it or not. And the art of living is to embrace death, and the art of working is to embrace rest. It's the same thing, they're the same picture. And with Corona and comparable things, and also with the ever-present climate crisis, whether you consider it important or not, it's clear that somehow we've been on the gas on the gas pedal of the world a bit too much, and also of ourselves. And if humans are healthy, I think the world is healthy. So let's take some breaks and look at the beautiful people of the world. Thank you for watching and listening, and I see see you very soon with more thoughts, and let me know what you think. Sending you much love and many blessings.